Hello, everyone. I hope you are having a delightful, restful day. But if you are like many people that I know, it may have been a little bit of a rougher day
Yeah.
or week or bit of time. And I'm super excited. I've really been looking forward to tonight. And we have Sangeeta with us again, which is awesome. And I'll be passing this over so you can introduce and have the moment of silence and all the things. She's going to be running this. This is our third month doing it, and it's really been super helpful for me. I hope it's been super helpful for you guys as well, because it feels a little bit like the world is on fire.
A little bit.
But it feels like that, I think, to varying degrees, lots of times. So I'm not sure what to make of that. So, Sangeeta, would you like to talk about what we're going to do while we're doing it? Things like that?
Yes, absolutely. So, hello everyone. My name is Sangeeta, and I have a YouTube channel called Tilted Planet by Sangeeta. I'm going to put that link in the chat quickly here. Um, so, today, welcome to our third positivity circle. This positivity circle I started over a year ago, that was in person, and then I met Kathy at pre Thanksgiving because we both live in Durham. And I was telling her how this circle of positivity had been so good in my life. And she was like, "Do you want to come on my channel and do it online?" And I was apprehensive. I didn't know how I was going to take an in-person private event into a online public event. I said, let's try it. And we tried it and I loved it. I was quite apprehensive about how it will go. But thanks to those who have been joining, I see there are about 19 people online right now. So before we actually start the event, I want to say some things about, the things that give us anxiety. One of the things is the fear of unknown. And we have those unknowns like every step of the way, right? Actually, every day we wake up, it is a new day, it is a new unknown. We have no idea what that day will bring to us. So, one of the things we need to tell ourselves is that we need to be friends with this unknown. There is no other way. Uh, and the way we are going to get through it is through the support we get from the society, the community, the family, and the support we give to other people. That's what will get us through this unknown. I mean, no matter what that unknown is going to bring, regardless of that, the fact of the matter that it is unknown in itself is a cause of anxiety. And so, if we in the morning, I find it helpful to say that okay, it is going to be an unknown day, but with my positivity, I can face it. I have a loving family. I have a lot of good things going for me. And of course, the world is not always going to throw good things at you, it's a mixed bag. And so, being thankful will help us overcome that fear of unknown. Good. We have about 24 friends online. Hello, everyone. Um,
Elizabeth is saying, what great advice.
thank you. All right. So, shall we begin?
Absolutely.
Okay. Let's begin with our pale blue dot image. Take a perspective. We have a selfie of the Earth. We have taken it. The Voyager has taken it, and there it is among trillions of galaxies, among trillions and trillions of stars. One of them is our Milky Way. Within that Milky Way, we have our beautiful sun, and on that, there are beautiful planets on the solar system, but there is one very, very special planet, and that's our Mother Earth. So we are all the voyagers on our spaceship, the Earth. It is a journey from one unknown to another. Nothing stays the same, not even the stars or the galaxies. The journey is not easy. It comes with struggles and hardships. There are good times and bad times. When the time is not on our side, which it is not on our side at the moment, we must hold on to each other dearly and prepare for a better time. Like a seed awaiting under the dirt for the spring. Let us whisper words of courage and kindness. Let us sing the songs of love. Let us be together in this circle of positivity. Kathy or Cheryl, may we have a couple minutes of silence? Let us meditate on positivity. Let us think about good things.
Oh, shoot.
There is an unknown. It's all right. It's okay.
Okay, we just click it when it's time to go down?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll give that to you. So you tell us when you're ready to click that.
I am ready.
Okay.
2 minutes of silence begins now. All right.
Okie doke. We have Fergus joining us a little bit.
Hello, hello, Fergus. All right.
Okay, buddy.
So, who wants to go first?
I think you should go first today.
Oh, all right. So, after a few weeks of really, really cold weather and some snowfall, we finally, not finally, I don't know, fortunately or unfortunately, because it is just a beginning of February, but we have a spring like weather, and it was a beautiful day today. Daughter and I decided to make use of it, and we played table tennis, and I beat her.
I love that. I laughed out loud as soon as you said I beat her. Because I think sometimes people think you can't kind of enjoy that too. It's, you know what I mean? Like, I think it's okay. I love that, and it has been a really weird day. It's been, for those of you who aren't in North Carolina, it was 80 degrees today.
Yeah.
And what was it? Not that many weeks ago, it was,
Yesterday, I had on a sweatpants and sweatshirt.
yeah. So what would you say your positive thing has been since last month, or even today?
You know, I am thankful that I was able to get into urgent care and get some medication to help me get on the other side of this bronchitis. And I am thankful that I am healthy enough that I was able to fight that off for a good portion of the time and was able to still enjoy my trip. And I am also thankful for my upcoming trips that I actually have the ability to be able to go and do stuff that I never even thought that I would be able to do, to go places that I never thought I would be able to see, and super excited about that. And it makes me happy when I'm starting to feel overwhelmed. I think about all the places that we're going that I've always wanted to go to. Like, we're going to Iceland, and I've always wanted to go to Iceland, and I am so excited that when I'm starting to feel overwhelmed or down, I just think about that, and it kind of lights me up a little bit. So, and I'm also like very joyful that I have somebody in my life that enjoys the same kind of goofy stuff that I do to share that with.
And that is true. We have we have peak nerdery in our household. And I'm grateful for some of the same things, like, because I'm a little nervous because, you know, we're starting a new venture with the Plant-Based Explorers, which is one of the reasons we're doing all these trips. But, and with all the noise going on, I'm a person who listens to my gut a lot. So usually my gut goes, you did the right thing. Or it says, do this. And I'm like, you sure? And it's always been the right thing. And I feel like it's a little delayed the past month, which is unusual. So I'm like, I have a feeling I should do this. I have no idea why. And then 3 or 4 days later, I'll be like, oh. So like when we first did, I'm like, oh, that way you'll have a channel. And then I went, oh, wait, this would be great for us to have a different vertical. And this week I went, oh, this is our retirement business.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Hopefully. I mean, obviously we don't know anything yet. It's a
Yeah.
baby. It's a baby business. But so I'm finding some positivity, even though things are strange in that I'm hearing these voices and signals a little bit later, really trying to listen to my body, my mind, slow down when it wants me to slow down, and really take care of myself. And the other thing I'm super excited for this week is it's very easy for me to get pulled into other people's drama or trauma. So with all this going on, I'm trying to not watch the news that much because that's a real easy way for me to start spinning. And we don't have all the facts about everything.
And you're a little bit of an empath, so you...
Well, I can feel the whole world feels like they're about to melt down. So I wish I didn't, but it's just, I feel that tenseness. And I had a friend who took something that I said the wrong way. So she said, I'm having a hard time, I'm scared for my child, things like that. And I said, well, here are two sources that I've been reading. They're real news. And because at this point, we kind of have to preface what we're sharing with people that we've done some sort of research. I feel like we're at peak AI and peak fear. And to me, that's a way to make people feel better. And what she took that as was, I said that she was spouting fake news and I was accusing her of that. And I'm like, whoa.
And it was just a simple matter of...
Well, I literally said, I've been
reading comprehension
this.
She comprehended what she read differently than what it was meant.
Right. Well, yeah, because I said, these have been helping me. Maybe they'll help you. This is real news because I just wanted to get ahead of where are you sourcing this from? Mm-hmm. And instead of really getting into that, because I was offended. Because she was my friend. Of course, I wasn't going to call her out on
social media
saying, you're like, Sangeeta, can you imagine me going, Sangeeta, that's fake news? No, I would email you and go, Sangeeta, I'm confused. Can you show, you know what I mean? It was just, I feel like the whole world is on edge. But what I didn't do is dive into it and stay with it and stay in that kind of bad place. I went, I'm sorry you're in a bad place. I'm not trying to fight with you. The end.
This is how I meant it. Done.
Yeah. And just not to keep going because my weakness is wanting to resolve things and wanting to understand things. And it's a weakness in it can be a strength, right? Because I want to understand. I want to be able to really kind of feel what other people are feeling so that that's an experience that I can learn from. However, at almost 60 years old, I now know that all and every situation is not the perfect situation for that, right? And so it was interesting, and it was probably, I felt like a grown-up. I was like, ooh, I'm almost 60. So it was very hard to do.
I was proud of you.
Yeah, and I did it, and even today, when I was doing some errands, and I had to go to TJ Maxx and Ross's and Target, I made sure to reach out and talk to the people who were working there, and just go, hey, how's your day going? And I got just the most beautiful responses back. And it was just really great. Like one guy at Target, we were just chatting about something. I'm like, yeah, I haven't been out in a little while. He goes, oh, I'm really glad you came out today. And I know it's such a tiny little thing, but knowing yesterday I was kind of discombobulated and today I was able to kind of come out because everyone's being a little bit edgy, that I could go out and be the person out in the world for at least 2 or 3 people that I wasn't the edgy one.
Yeah, I think the way that I kind of see that is, we need to be the voice that the calming voice that somebody hears, that all they've heard all day is this negativity, and then all of a sudden you're there. The universe has put you there in front of this person that needs to hear this positive thing, and I feel like the universe is putting us in those places, right?
And I want to be real clear too, and Jules is saying we can only resolve our own thoughts and feelings. I can't stop trying to solve everyone else's myself. I feel you. And I also, while I said I did this today, and I'm happy I did it today, I also want to make sure that you guys see. I'm not trying to do what is being seen as toxic positivity. That if I'm having a really hard day, that now I have to go. I'm responsible for doing this. No. When I have those spoons of energy, I get to pick where to use them, and I'm trying to pick the most positive places that I can use them. Yeah. So for those of you who just don't have that little bit of energy to give away, use it on yourself, right? Like
it's perfectly okay to keep that for yourself.
Yeah, and I Sangeeta, I think you think the same way. It's it's one of those times that you have to put on your oxygen mask right before someone else's.
Yep.
Oh, Susan says, I would love to have those sources. You may not want to know them, but if you email me at kathyhester@gmail.com, I will put them out. I don't talk politics on social media. If you are on Facebook on my personal page, you may find out things you want to know or don't want to know. But everything else I kind of keep out of that. But if you guys want to know, it's probably people you may already be following.
Most likely.
Jackie says the world is a bit overwhelming at the moment. I need to have a social media vacation. And I could not agree more. Sangeeta, do you have any advice about that?
So I definitely have been following one rule: no device, no media 2 hours before the bedtime. Not watching any TV, not looking at my phone, not bringing my phone to my bedroom. Get a book or play music or anything else. You have some chores to do, cook for tomorrow, whatever, but no gadgets 2 hours before bedtime. That has been my rule, and that keeps me helps me sleep peacefully every night.
I think that's a great idea. And I even bought a Kindle because I can't get on the internet with it. I don't know where it is right now.
I know where it is.
Okay,
I saw
good.
it today.
Okay, good. Because usually around election time, I make the switch. I did stop subscribing to Apple News, though my Apple News looked a little bit like the National Enquirer, because it goes on whatever, and I'm looking at food and cruising, and I can't, it's 25 things you can't believe exist in nature, but the way the news cycle is going right now and disasters are happening in the world, even being on Facebook yesterday was very stressful for me, and I have to be on it for my job. And so I've been wanting to move some of my stuff off of Facebook. I'm just not quite prepared to leave everybody behind. But if, I know a lot of you have moved over to YouTube and moved over to the Heartbeat group, but right now in my stream, if I go even just to check some of the cruise groups we're in, I'm seeing a lot of news that, I don't know, a month ago, all I was seeing was ads to buy things. So it seems like it's changed a little bit.
Yeah.
Jules is saying, holding people's difficult feelings and beliefs and not take them on is very challenging. Oh my goodness. I mean, I hate using the word empathic, because I'm not sure where all this stuff comes from. It could come from trauma. It could come from, growing up in a place where I had to be hyper aware of situations. And it doesn't really matter why it happened, if I was born with this magical gift or if somehow I had to be more aware in the world. It's just, if I walk into a room at a party, I actually gauge the feelings or the senses, the information I get from everyone. It's and that is tiring, and I need to do a little better. I have some of these scented scrubs that actually have affirmations on them for different things. And so I've been using those, and I'm not saying they're magically going to work for you, but setting that intention and doing a task I find is really helping me center on what my goal is and kind of achieving it.
Yeah.
Yeah, also, we need to remember that we live at a time when the worst news in the world gets to us within a moment.
Yeah.
And it and there is people who are putting news out in the media. There is a term for uh, how to get people's attraction, and that term is hook. So you hook them on. So how many times we are getting hooked on to something that we don't like, or we don't even want to watch it, or we don't even want to read it? At the end of the day, forget about everything. We don't know how many days we have to live, how many breaths we have to take. At the end of the day, what will matter? It will matter that you loved and you were kind. Everything else is nobody's going to remember. Or if they remember you, how do you want them to remember you? We want people to remember us as someone who was kind to them, or someone who was always depressed and complaining about things. There is there is a lot of bad happening in the world. We can only do what is under our control, and we must accept what is not under our control. Otherwise, it will drive us insane, which is what is happening in many cases. So, with that, I am going to invite our wonderful audience to share with us uh, their positive thoughts. And if you have something very private that you do not wish to share, please write it down on a piece of paper, and maybe you can share it with your family or friends.
And I see Apple gave us a quote from Maya Angelou that says, I've learned that people will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel.
Truly. It's so accurate.
And I just want to say to you, Sangeeta, one of the things that you bring to me is I feel when, even just like hanging out with you here, I always feel a little more centered, a little more clear. I don't feel all.
We always leave this session afterwards, both of us very kind of bubbly, and then we always go and sit down and we have some nice little chat or watch a little something and have nice conversation and just kind of relax after we get off of here.
Yeah, and that is what I want everyone to have this as a takeaway, or even experience it, is that we can't fix everything. We can probably make things better that are under our control, and that's our family, our friends, our loved ones, who or at work, even your colleagues. That is something we definitely have a control over, and we should not lose an opportunity there just because we are upset over somebody else in the government did something bad. And so now we are sitting like this, and our family, this is what our family is going to see our face instead of this, right?
Yeah. Jackie says, on a positive note, this is my second day of retirement.
Yay, congratulations.
Yay! That's awesome. I know you've worked hard for a long time. And Apple says, I'm grateful for my friends who have been checking in on me during this season of deep grief. I have good friends. For those of you who don't know, Apple lost her cat. Passed. So it's so hard to lose a pet.
There are children.
They are. Jules says, I enjoyed gathering with several women's groups this week. Somehow, after a panic for a few weeks, I seem to be able to redirect my attention on getting ready to go to Tahiti.
Ooh.
I'm happy and slightly jealous, but only in the best way. I want pictures.
Yes, definitely.
That's awesome. And Sangeeta, if someone's watching this and they are kind of in a panic and not able to shift a little bit, do you have maybe some exercises or quotes or thoughts that might help them?
Yeah, breathing definitely helps. Deep breathing, doing yoga. And one other thing, Kathy, you mentioned is about the smells. So I have these essential oils that I use to uplift my mood or calm it down. I find that vetiver is calming, at least as far as I am concerned. I love that smell because it also brings some childhood memories, some really good memories of vetiver. Um, and so that's something you can do, but also pay attention to what does make you happier and calmer. It's different for everyone, right? Sometimes thinking about your positive moments in your life, sometimes thinking about, I sometimes imagine our garden in the spring, or sometimes I imagine being by the ocean or being in the mountains or being with someone that I love and I care about. And one extremely powerful thing is that think about somebody who needs you at this moment and somebody you can cheer up at this moment. That completely turns my mood away because you always have, like, my dad is turning 90 and I always think about him when I'm not in such a good mood, and I start to think about my dad. Oh, he's turning 90. How lucky I am that I have him, and how he has supported me throughout my life. So once I start thinking about it, I start to feel better. But also important that we will go through all the emotions. Just let it pass. Just wait for for that wave to pass, and then you will feel better. And once you start feeling better, then ask yourself, was it really worth getting upset about? And this is the practice of positivity. Looking back at your moments that were negative and positive. And something happened to me yesterday, actually, that something private that I would not want to share. But I was quite upset and sad. And then I shared it with my husband and my daughter. But I just needed my time to feel sad. I was sad for about good 24 hours over it. And and after that wave has passed, I'm looking back at it. Was it really necessary or worth getting sad about such little thing? I think not, but I still let it pass. And maybe next time something like that happens, I will be upset for half that time. This is the practice of positivity.
That's such a really good point too. And Apple is saying one of the things that she does is she externalizes her anxiety, gives it a name, and talks. And I like that too, because I think what's scary for me and possibly some others as well is when you start to get that wave of anxiety, all of your or all of my survival stuff kicks in. I'm like, stop, run, do something else instead of just letting it kind of wash over and know that it's going to go away. as long as we don't decide to keep replaying it. And I know that's a mistake I've made before, replaying it and wanting it to, I often want things to resolve in a logical manner.
And they can't. Lots of things just can't.
They just can't, right? Apple also says, in moments of panic, I count things I can see. I feel the ground beneath me. I focus on lengthening my exhales. I do bilateral tapping, left tap, right tap, left tap, right tap. That's
interesting. I do that sometimes, and I never understood why. I think it's just instinctive for me to calm myself.
I don't know if I count numbers, but sometimes I count in my head just to kind of take my mind onto something else. And that's not something I've consciously thought about either.
Me neither, but I do that. I'm the tapper. You know, I'm always tapping something.
Yes.
So.
Speaking of anxiety, no, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding, everybody. Marriage is fun and exciting. One thing that you mentioned in the very beginning too, that depending on where you live, go outside. And even if it's very cold, and if you are able to dress for whatever that weather is, even just walking to the mailbox and back, if it's like really, really ridiculously cold and you're not supposed to be outside, obviously don't be outside. If it's like -15 or some crazy stuff. But maybe even then, just open your door, stick your head out, and then put it back in just to get some air, to feel like today I had to go to the chiropractor, but I decided to go on some errands because I was by myself, which I haven't been in
A very long time.
very long time, like a month and a half. And it lets my brain kind of play out. Usually I walk as well, and I just feel like my brain plays out the things, and then the little silly tapes that are repeating, like, oh, you're not good enough, or oh, you can't do that, or oh, the world's on fire, or whatever. As I'm walking and kind of being in my body, those messages get smaller and smaller and smaller. Because instead of concentrate that everything's right here, all of a sudden I'm whole again.
And for me, I'm a shut everything out person. Not shut it out with like a camel with my head, like, or a ostrich, whatever, sticks their head in the sand. But all this energy is happening around my head. This energy and these feelings are coming at me, and negativity and things. And so I shut it all down. And whatever I do in silence. Like a lot of times when we drive to Florida, I make her crazy because I just drive in complete silence. And she's like, do you want to put the radio on? No. Do you want to listen to a book? No. I'm just like, I want the silence because I'm resetting everything and just kind of like getting everything back in line.
And I'm working, so it's not that it bothers me at all. I'm not a good entertainer on a drive. So like, I'm like, do we need to do Audible? Do we need to do music? Let me do something for you. But I think
you're getting used to the fact that I'm just completely okay with just being in silence.
Yeah, except for when you get sleepy.
Yeah, that's when it's bad.
Jewel says, I'm trying to see when things are too weighted and literally envision it like a horse. Take the rein, shake it away, and back, and tell it to give me space.
Interesting.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I can see sometimes I've done other visualizations about things, like when I was feeling really trapped in my anxiety, it felt like a shell. And so I would close my eyes and kind of try to not exactly meditate, but go inward is maybe a better way to put it. And I would imagine myself unzipping, and then I would physically step through and feel it kind of wash away. Sometimes I need to feel something physical to get over that. And I think that's very similar. Jackie says, I'm an introvert with social skills. Most of us introverts have social skills. We just need to rest.
Yeah, we have to recharge every so often.
I tend to have conversations in my head almost like biofeedback. And that's what walks are for me. And then ideas, they're not magically appearing. My head is clearing so that the crazy stuff or the things that's not helpful is going away, and then the good stuff can come out.
I think she's gonna.
Now, Kathy, I do want to go back to what you said about going outside. We've talked about it in almost every session. And I go once a week, I walk with my neighbors. And as I mentioned earlier, past few weeks have been really cold, but because we have each other, we have walked in that cold, getting bundled up. There was no way I could have done it on my own without
Yeah.
them. And so having somebody really, really helps.
Yeah.
And it's true. And for those of you who maybe don't have someone with you now or things like that, don't forget we have the movement group. And if that's something that's helpful, we are going to be trying to go live when we're on some of the cruises and see if that works or not. But if it does, then we'll take you on some walks with us as well. I know we've been remiss about that.
Yeah, it's we haven't done so good about the walk and talks since Max passed.
Yeah, it's been a little harder because we would always be bringing Max out every day. So we need to start. I used to say when I had cats 20 years ago, I have to be walked regularly like a dog, and I feel that. I think that's a need. Jules says silence is golden.
It is. I love it.
That made me want to be quiet.
Sorry.
No, it did. It just did right now. So I'm like, oh, I can't be. I'm running a show. Anybody else want to share something positive? And it can be even positive that you were, like one of the things I said is I was starting to go down a path that wasn't super helpful.
And you reined it in.
And I reined it in, and maybe you reined it in more than you've ever done it before, but not enough. Whatever you need to do. Elizabeth says, even as an extrovert, I need my quiet time. When I get home from work, my husband will say a quick hi to me, but he knows to leave me alone for at least 30 minutes to decompress before we chat.
It's awesome.
I've been trying to teach Cheryl that for a long time. You're doing better.
I am.
You really are. Like, it is always interesting too. Like, as soon as you work on one thing, you're ready to work on the next thing. All of us, just as people.
Yeah. It's true. We always have something we need to work on. Yeah. Recharges. It's important, especially in times like now.
Well, I think when times are going well, we're not as aware of our battery or the fact that energy is not limitless. As when, I feel like when things are difficult, anxiety, stress, depression also starts affecting your body. And then, all of that takes away even more of your energy.
Yeah.
Oh, and Jules says, I feel my dream work is getting me to wholeness and deeper awareness.
Awesome.
That is great. Dream work. Don't we all want to have that? You're so
Yeah.
lucky, Jules.
Yes, very lucky.
I love that. Elizabeth's giving us a great picture, saying, going back to as an extrovert, her husband, otherwise he'll follow me around the house, and I'm like, I need a few minutes before we have this conversation.
Well, I have heard that a million times.
I'm like, now what I say is, I am already doing 2 things. I cannot do 3 at the same time. you had some other things for us today, Sangeeta.
Absolutely. Yes. So, I am currently reading the most ancient scriptures that is known to mankind. It's called Rig Veda. It's in very, very old Sanskrit. I don't understand most of it, but I am reading the different translations of it. And uh, I came across a verse that I was so surprised that two of the translations say that the same thing. And it is about, it's describing a person with gender fluidity. How amazing is that? So I know a lot of people are feeling really anxious and sad about it. And if I could help in any ways by giving sort of reference to the most oldest scriptures known to mankind, also talks about gender fluidity, that might help you in changing the hearts. What we want is hopefully we can come out of this not winning over others, but by changing the hearts. And such evidences can be helpful in that. So, I'm going to read it. Before that, I am going to explain. Okay, I'm probably going to provide a link to that. It is the first mandala of Rig Veda. Let me see if I can give a link to that. Well, I'm not able to copy from here. So anyway, it is the first mandala of Rig Veda, and 164th sukta, and the 16th verse of it. Now, I am not trained in proper Vedic recitation, so I will not as such do a proper recitation, but I am going to read it to you in Sanskrit first, and then I'm going to read the English translation of it. So it goes like this. Striyah satistam me puns ahu pasha dakshinvan vi chetadundha kaviryah putrah sa ima chiket yasta vijanatsa vitushpitasat. That is the verse. I have totally not recited it in a way it is supposed to be. But that's the verse. And the meaning in English is female they are, intelligent and educated. And though women, I am told rightly, they are male too. One who has eyes can see this, but one who is blind, even though he has eyes, doesn't see this, doesn't know. The son who has the vision of a poet knows this well, and one who knows this as an old head on young shoulders. In other words, he has the vision and knowledge of the Father of fathers. So, this was my first item that I was going to share on gender fluidity, and I'm going to stop and see if there are any comments, questions, reactions.
First, I'm seeing Jules says ancient wisdom. And to go back a little bit before you started reading that,
Tanya.
Tanya, and it's because I'm confused with all the Tanyas now. So I'm sorry if I'm saying it wrong.
I think it's Tanya.
I live near DC, and it's been an overwhelming couple of weeks. It seems like everyone I know is losing their job or getting deported. I started meditating daily, and I feel much better lately. That's very hard, and I'm so sorry that all that is going on around you. And I'm so proud of you for taking a step that lets you still have a good life now.
Yeah, it's taking care of you.
Yeah, Jules is asking if I could read it again. Do you want me to read in Sanskrit or English?
We'll give her a chance to answer.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kathy, what I can do, I can send you a link. Maybe you can post the link.
Yeah, of course.
Or,
That's why I've started bringing my computer over when I'm doing lives now.
Yeah.
In English
please.
is what Jules is asking for in English.
okay, yeah, sure. I am happy to read again.
Okay, awesome. And I'll put this in the chat as soon as I get it.
Let me send it to you. Now, I know this website recently they have not renewed their security certificate, so you might get some warning there, but it is safe. I have been reading it for years now. Okay, so let me go back to my reading. So this is the translation by Dr. Tulsi Ram. Female they are, intelligent and educated, and though women, I am told rightly, they are male too. One who has eyes can see this, but one who is blind, even though he has eyes, doesn't see this, doesn't know. The son who has the vision of a poet knows this well, and one who knows this has an old head on young shoulders. In other words, he has the vision and knowledge of the fathers of fathers. So, of course, these verses were not written to please us here in the 21st century, year 2025. Those people were writing what they were seeing around them. And obviously, they wrote about it because it has existed.
That is so fascinating to me that is that old and that subject matter is in those writings.
I was so surprised.
It's interesting because there's, Native American traditions around things like that, like two-spirit people. So it
Pretty much, I was reading an article the other day, and they were saying that pretty much every native species or native group from every continent before colonization had some type of third gender or even more than three genders. And when the colonization happened, all that was put to an end to make them, what's the word I want? Assimilate?
assimilate.
Yeah.
Yeah, because then natives were put into schools and not allowed to practice their religions or speak their languages and things like that. I mean, and this isn't the only place, obviously, that's happened. Colonization has happened so many places. And I think the beauty in what you read, Sangeeta, too, is it's not, whereas right now some of that is being politicized. It's not a political thing. It's just a human thing. And maybe it doesn't touch every human or doesn't touch every human all the time. But, I think that's one of the things that I'm trying to take in and be positive, as I know I'm a little nervous for groups of people right now, like Tanya was saying, some people she knows are being deported and losing their jobs, and we have friends with transgender children. So,
Yeah.
they are definitely more at risk than your average human being. And I know a lot of various brown people are being very nervous for good reason as
Yeah.
well.
Well, like we were talking before we even came on, I had to run to the UPS office down the road to mail out some books. And there were a lot of Duke International students in there, and they were all like in a panic trying to get some things done before they closed at 6:30. I mean, there was just there was a line of international students trying to get some paperwork taken care of and things.
Yeah.
So
Now, I know, sorry, Cheryl, to cut you
it's
off.
okay.
Yeah. So I know it is a difficult situation for many, many people. But as an immigrant, I can say that immigrants are resilient. They do consider these possibilities. And the hardest it is going to be is on their undocumented children, because it's not their doing. And that's the harder part. But as hard the situation is, everybody, we have the strength and resiliency to fight it, and they will fight it. They are resilient, and we will, each of us will support them in any way that we can. We know that.
I agree completely, and it is easy, and I appreciate you bringing up this point too. It is easy to start feeling hopeless about people that you can't change what's going on. And again, going back to our very beginning of the conversation about taking care of ourselves so that we can put out some energy. Like there, if I see someone who I think may have been given a hard time, maybe because of their color or their accent or their religion, I go out of my way to speak to them as well, and to recognize, you are recognized. I am not the magic recognizer, but I just think that just like when I go into a store and I talk to the cashier, no matter who they are, it's not that I'm magical. What's magical is making a human connection, if that makes sense.
Everybody really just wants to be seen and heard and recognized as a human being in other people's eyes. It's one of the most simple things that we can give somebody, is to just recognize them for who they are.
And just be as good a person as you can be in that moment. And if sometimes being a good person means keeping your mouth shut and staying at home, sometimes I put myself on timeout, and that's okay too, right? It's not about, oh, I'm a bad person because I can't go out and be nice to everybody. Sometimes, like what Sangeeta said, she let herself be sad for a while and then kind of decided what was going on. And different things demand different kinds of processing times from us too.
Yeah.
The small misunderstanding with a friend is going to take much less time to process than something larger like the loss of a family member. And we don't get to go ahead and mark those up as what's okay and not.
I like what Jewel said.
The last one,
Yeah.
do you want to read it or do you want me to?
Go ahead.
Okay. So one group of people who work with migrants was saying if anyone showed up to round them up, that the Americans would run so that they would be chased. When asked why they ran, they would say, because you chased me. And I think that's fair enough. And it is a time that we have to find our community and lean on our community. Jackie's in Texas, which I knew, so brown people are everywhere. I know some who have birthright citizenship. I also know quite a few in the LGBTQ plus community. I fear for all of them.
Yeah, I mean, let us take a moment to realize that we cannot possibly take responsibility of every single problem the world has. The world always has problems. There always be problems. But we should care about it, but not let that impact our life to the extent that we are constantly under stress and we are experiencing constant sorrow and anxiety and depression. We need to preserve ourselves so that we can help in any way we can.
Exactly.
Those are powerful words. Like, we need to take care of ourselves so that we can be a help. And I agree. I've done the same thing. I get into a hole and I start worrying about people. Like right now, I'm not as worried about us. But we are gay married, and some people are not thrilled about that. Which I think of all the things in the world, people getting married to get mad about is the weirdest thing ever. We stay at home and watch TV and don't bother anyone, right? Once you get married, you're kind of like boring. But,
I mean,
that's the one I don't understand.
If they don't want to see any of us, they just need to let us all just get married off, and then they don't have to worry about it, right?
But I think also, some of us are looking at history and seeing, they came for these people, then they came for those people. But the thing is the people who took care of themselves and helped the others survive. Those are our heroes from history. It's not the people who worried until they got depressed and couldn't go help their neighbor when something was happening.
Right.
And I do think that that's really important for us to do now and going forward is, if you're going to go on vacation or you have something fun to do or a party, you're always like, ooh, I'm going to take care of myself. I'm not going to go out here. I don't want to get sick. I'm not going to stay up too late. You make all these things so you can make this goal. And for me in this conversation, I'm thinking maybe the goal is for me just to really take good care of myself, sleep enough, make sure I'm eating good food and staying hydrated, so that if something does happen, that I can be the best helper if I need to be a helper. But also taking care of it's not me here's the thing. Sometimes it feels like, ooh, taking care of myself in the middle of a crisis. What kind of narcissist am I? That's a voice that comes from my head, which I know is incorrect. But it's kind of like, no, the world is burning. You should be out there doing something. And then we start worrying about the people who are on the front line. Whatever the people are, if it was about gay marriage, we would be the people on the front line. And it's very easy to be empathetic to the people who are not being treated correctly. But again, I think what we have to normalize, and I'm not really sure how to do it, except I'm going to practice, is normalizing, no, taking care of myself is how I make the world a better place.
And like Tanya said too, like I say this all the time, like I say it in almost every live that we've done lately, like you do have to put your mask on first. There's a reason that rule exists on planes, and it should carry over into your regular life. You can't help anybody if you're not taking care of yourself first. You just can't. If you don't have that oxygen to take in for yourself, you don't have it to give to somebody else. So you have to take care of you first. It's super important right now, especially.
Yeah, I agree. And Jules says, preserve and protect ourselves. Elizabeth has a two-parter. First, she says, I have a bigger issue with anger. And that's very valid too, anger. And then says, I just have to stop watching the news. It's one disaster after another, and my blood pressure is exploding. And one thing that I can say that I tried differently this time than maybe another time was, instead of being beaten down by something that happened, I used it to mobilize and energize myself. So I made a conscious choice that I was going to live my best life. I was going to enjoy my 60th birthday. That, and I'm having a birthday year, people, a whole year. But just to really mobilize, work on prosperity, health, and to try and make these positive emotions more important. And so that energy that the anger was building up. And there's nothing wrong with being angry either. I'm not saying you can't be angry, but how can you use that energy?
I have had to get on her because sometimes she doesn't want to expel that anger. Like, she'll get angry, but she'll keep it in, and she doesn't want to expel it out. But then after a while, maybe she'll just vent. And when she vents, she feels so much better. And I think, you can't let that sit inside and just fester up. You have to vent. You have to get that out. Find somebody that's a friend or somebody, and just, or write a letter. Even if you don't send it to anyone, just write a letter and just exactly how you're feeling, and just vent it all out there. And you'll be surprised how much better that makes you feel, and how much lower your shoulders sit a little bit.
It's true. And there's 5 calls, I believe. So if you're so angry or depressed with kind of the situation going on, you can call your representatives, and they have a script, so you don't have to think about it. And this is great for me, because I would be like, oh, I don't know what to say. Just read what they tell you to say. And it takes like 5 minutes. So you will have done some action to, that you were angry about. Or again, if that's more than you can do, but when I feel angry, sometimes actually taking an action about it makes me personally feel better. But walking or talking to a friend as well can be very helpful.
Yeah.
I think it's hard to feel so helpless.
Yeah, and we may be helpless about some things, but we are never completely helpless. Maybe you cannot stop a deportation, but maybe you can do something else. You can help your neighbor move, or spend time with a elderly person in your neighborhood, or help walk somebody's dog when they are away.
Those are all really great too. So those of you who do want to do something that's about what you're angry about, you can do that. However, if that's not an option, or maybe the person you're angry at has passed. Something, I've dealt with that before in my life. So I am a big supporter of doing something helpful. I'm also evidently a big supporter of knocking this around tonight. Jackie says, I'm worried I might add a few choice words in the script. Post-menopause with anger issues can be dangerous. Preach. Preach is all I have to say to you. I'm not sure how to say that, but
Southern chick.
Oh, Southern chick, I see it now.
Southern chick.
This live is the right thing at the right time for me. Oh, we're so glad that you're here.
Yeah.
And I do I've been saying a non-PG word, which I will not be saying here today that I just told Sangeeta. I don't think Sangeeta heard me have such a potty mouth as she did before we came on here. But the PG version is lots of tomfoolery is going on. So I've got a good PG version. But I do agree. After postmenopause, my face does not hide what I am thinking or anything like that. And you know what? I think it's okay to add a few choice words to that script as long as you're not abusive to the person who's hearing it, because they didn't make the problem.
Right.
Just remember that you're not talking to your senator or the senator you don't like or the person who you're talking to somebody's kid.
The 21-year-old intern that got, shoved in there to take phone calls for the day.
Whoever's being punished is probably who you're talking to.
Yeah.
Same thing if I'm talking to customer service representatives, I try to have all the patience in the world because I may be the only person that they talk to today that's not mean to them.
And Jules, I am with you on being an ally, and that's what I am as well. Because I think that people may be willing to listen to me more than they are willing to listen to an actual LGBTQ person, or they may just avoid this person because of the who they are. But they have no reason to avoid me, and so I can say things on behalf of my friends, and I've done that, and that's what I'm doing right now actually as well. So giving tools to everyone as an ally, that you can cite these examples. Hey, look, in the oldest scriptures we find these words here. And now, may I recite the other scripture?
Absolutely.
Please.
Okay, so this one is a little bit newer, that is also thousands of years old, but it is in a recent Sanskrit, so I understand it better. Uh, Now, this is a prayer to a form of Shiva that is half woman and half man. It is called Ardha Nari Nateshwar. Literally means half woman Shiva. And it is a prayer to that. It is not that uncommon form. There are many artists who have performed this, and if you I'm going to also pass on a link to Kathy. Um, there is art, there are old statues, new statues, art, people dancing and acting out, half woman, half man. You can find all that on the internet. So I'm going to pass on a Wikipedia link here. And I am going to recite two verses of it. If you want me to keep going, there are 5 verses. If you want me to keep going, put it in the chat. I will keep going. Otherwise, I plan to recite 2 verses. चाम्पेय गौरार्ध शरीर कायै कर्पूर गौरार्ध शरीर काय चाम्पेय गौरार्ध शरीर कायै कर्पूर गौरार्ध शरीर काय धम्मिल्लकायै च जटाधराय धम्मिल्लकायै च जटाधराय नमः शिवायै च नमः शिवाय चाम्पेय गौरार्ध शरीरकायै कस्तूरिका कुङ्कुमचर्चितायै कस्तूरिका कुङ्कुमचर्चितायै चितारज पुञ्जविचर्चिताय कृतस्मरायै विकृतस्मराय नमः शिवायै च नमः शिवाय चाम्पेय गौरार्ध शरीरकायै.
Do you want to keep going?
That is the. Do you want me to?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, very much so. And I'm having to kind of do a few things to get this up on the chat, so I could use the time. And it's beautiful.
Okay, thank you. चाम्पेय गौरार्ध शरीरकायै झनत्कणत्वङ्कण नूपुरायै पादाब्जराजत्फणिनूपुराय हेमाङ्गदायै भुजगाङ्गदाय नमः शिवायै च नमः शिवाय चाम्पेय गौरार्ध शरीरकायै विशालनीलोत्पललोचनायै विकासिपङ्केरुहलोचनाय समेक्षणायै विषमेक्षणाय नमः शिवायै च नमः शिवाय चाम्पेय गौरार्ध शरीरकाय मन्दारमाला कलितालकायै कपालमालाङ्कित कन्धराय दिव्याम्बरायै च दिगम्बराय नमः शिवायै च नमः शिवाय चाम्पेय गौरार्ध शरीरकायै.
That's so lovely.
Thank
It just
you.
always relaxes me so much.
Thank you.
Just like I just immediately just like feel my shoulders go down and just, it's just very soothing. And Tanya also said that she feels it's very relaxing. And Kathy has added those two links to the chat so people have them.
Yes. It was a few steps to go through.
We had stuff everywhere. We couldn't even see where to click to get back to stuff.
I can't post when I'm on eCam, so the computer that this is on, I can't actually post, which is why I have a laptop out. So I had to get it from there, email it over. You would have thought it was like 1990, and I was taking little floppy disks. Jill says seeing the Shiva is something. And Jackie says, I've been listening to Living the Sutras. It's very interesting and thought-provoking. Tanya says, so relaxing. Yeah.
Thank you.
And thank you so much again. Like, I get so much joy and relaxation out of this.
Thank you.
It's
I do too, by the way, reading. It's really a circle. We are.
Yes.
therefore that's,
See, and you didn't think it would work online.
I
And it
didn't think
does.
it would work out.
I'm sure the energy is different, but it's so nice to be able to bring this to people who maybe can't have it any other way too.
But I can feel the energy.
Oh
Like
yeah.
I can feel it. Like, can you feel it, Sangeet?
I do absolutely
Yeah.
do. And the beauty of it is people can revisit it anytime at their convenience.
Yes, and that's what's really nice too. So I sent out an email right before we came and I said, come live or watch the replay. So if you need just a little bit more, I'll try and go back in. I have a thing that can do chapters. If I can, I'll try and see if I can get it to chapter and mark where the chant comes. And then that way, if you guys just want to come back and hear that, that's something that you could do. Anything else you would like to leave us with this month?
Be well, everyone. Take care of yourself, and so long.
Oh, Susan, I think the first link I had it kind of together, but let me see. Let me try one more
Yeah,
thing.
no, she's right. She's right. That's what I was saying, that they haven't renewed their security certificate. Recently, that started happening. Yeah.
Okay.
But it is you said it is a safe site, so if they want to
Yeah.
just go on to continue anyway,
Yeah.
there'll be
Or
some
if-
place on there.
Yeah, or if you search on the internet, it's available widely. Just look for Rigved, and you will find plenty. You might find Rigved translation by Dr. Tulsi Ram. I will chat that name here.
Okay. If you want to send it to me, any links after, I'll put them actually down in the comments. Oh, I don't know if it lets you put links in the comments or not, but if you send it to me, I'll put it in with the description and everything so that it's there. Neither link worked for you either. Okay, let me see.
I wonder if it got messed up in
Let's
the
see, in
translation
all the-
from one.
Okay, let's see. That's the connection isn't private. Okay, this one should work. I'm going to try again. I'm going to do them separately. This is the Wikipedia one. And then the privacy error, what you have to do is you have to click advanced. And then when you click advanced, it'll give you a whole paragraph of stuff. And at the bottom, it says proceed to VedicScriptures.com. And it says unsafe, but she says it's safe. And I'm clicking on it right now.
It's their security certificate. So like a lot of places are
Yeah.
kind of slow to renew those sometimes. So
Yeah, I have emailed them about that. They should really renew it. But I am guessing it's all volunteer based.
I mean,
yeah.
they're so easy to forget to renew that. Like in the job that I worked
Yeah.
at, we used to get security certificate violations on our own servers internally. So I mean, it was
Yep.
just like somebody just like forgot to do it.
Absolutely. All right. So, with that thought, be well, everyone. Take care of yourself.
And we will see everyone next month.
Yes. And
Yeah,
thank-
and Kathy, we've decided to do the first Tuesday of the month, so that
at least for the next few months.
for the next few months. Yeah.
It happens to work out because we're traveling crazy. I'm actually also trying to schedule in something else, and I'm like, my head is boggled. We never have this much scheduled.
Like what we need right now is like a giant calendar that has pieces that you can move like Jenga. That would be a lovely thing for us to have.
You know what? I'm just glad that we're getting to go and do some of the things we've wanted to
Yeah.
do for our whole life.
Yeah.
And so we are very, very happy about that.
Very thankful.
Well, thank you so much, and I can't wait to see you next month.
Yep.
And everybody, you can come back here and talk to each other, or come over to Heartbeat and come hang out. If there's an interest, we can start kind of a positivity thread in there too, so we can all talk to each other in between times, if that's good. Have the very, very best night, and do what Sangeeta says and unplug for 2 hours just tonight. I'm going to try. I might fail, but I'm going to try real hard. Okay. All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see